Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. This video will cover what we did in one of our classrooms in studying this nutritional data for fast food. And I just wanted to create this video just in case you missed any key points during lecture in dealing with StatCrunch. Okay, so this video is just meant to give you a refresher and remind you as far as how I'm using StatCrunch for data analysis here. All right, so in one of our classes we're dealing with this data set here. So what they're doing is they're collecting data on various food items from various restaurants. And so here they're looking at burgers, breaded chicken, grilled chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets, french fries, chocolate milkshakes, so on and so forth from these different restaurants here. And so, and in StatCrunch, so if I go to StatCrunch here, let me see, let me go to feature data, I think it's in there. Now you can always search, for your fast food. Okay, so I search in there, and here's the data set here. So if you click on this here, then it opens up a StatCrunch. Nice and neat. So the first thing we did here was we're interested just which fast food chains were involved in this study. So one way to summarize it using a graph was by doing either a bar chart or a pie chart. So here you can go to graph. There's bar plot with data. Excuse me. And we have the fast food restaurant. And here we go. Okay, so this gives us the bar plot for the fast food restaurant. So you hover the cursor over, we get 11 came from Burger King, 13 from Carl's Jr., 5 from Chick-fil-A, so on and so forth. Okay, so that gives us the bar plot there. Okay, and then of course the other thing that we can use is also the pie chart. Okay, so we could do with data. Now, in some of these options, you'll see with data and with summary. And in class, I'll be primarily using with data because I'm dealing with raw data sets, as you see here. If you're using this in my stat lab, you may be using the with summary because you rarely see raw data in the online homework. It's already more or less summarized, like maybe they've already counted the number of times a restaurant was used, and they give you just the summary data. So in that case, you do with summary. Okay, so it's kind of nice that it's built in to StatCrunch here. And it's ready to roll with raw data or with summary data, which is summary data you usually see on the stat lab. Okay, but if I go with data here, fast food restaurant, here we go. Okay, so in this chart, we could see all the different restaurants. It lists all the different restaurants, and it gives us a number, which is the frequency. So there's 11 items that they use for Burger King, and they got this percentage by putting the number 11 over the total number of items and dividing 11 by the total number of items and calculating the percentage there from fraction, decimal to percent. Okay, so we just looked in here, said we saw equal representation of pretty much all the restaurants with the exception to In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A. And the reason we came to that conclusion was because In-N-Out, they only offer hamburger cow items, and Chick-fil-A only offers chicken items. Okay, but that's what we did there to start off here. Okay, but then we want to get into, right, we want to try to be healthy, and we're looking at calories. So we did a graph, we did a histogram for calories here. Okay, so if you compute that, that's what we get there. Okay, so we get this histogram of calories, and I asked you to interpret it and all that. Okay, but remember, we didn't want calories just for, this is for all items, right? We wanted just for burgers. So if you don't have to recreate the histogram, you can just go to options and edit here. And so there was two ways we could do this. Okay, the first way was using the group by. So what I want to do is I want to create a histogram, but I want to group by type, because type here, if you see this column here, this variable, it tells you if it's a burger, a milkshake, breaded chicken, grilled chicken, so on and so forth. So I wanted to create this histogram just for burger, but by doing by, group by, it's going to give me a histogram for each type here. Okay, but if we do this here, we can compute here. Okay, so here, if you see here, it'll give me one histogram per page, and you see these arrows down here. Obviously, I don't want this histogram because it's for breaded chicken, right? So we move along. That's for burger. That's for chicken nuggets. That's for French fries. That's for grilled chicken. That's for milkshake. If you want to compare two or more histograms right away, you can go to options back here and then down here. So if you have multiple graphs, like we could see, you know, maybe 4 per page, and if you do that, then see you get them stacked like that. So it's kind of harder to see here as far as the x-axis goes, right? But you can kind of compare multiple all at once. I mean, with 4, we're kind of squeezing them in there, but that's an easy way to view multiple at the same time. But I showed you another way, because really by using this by here, the type, is going to give us more than what we need, because we don't need the graphs for all of them. We just need graph just for one type of item, which is burger. So in here you could say, hey, just say, hey, this is where you're going to build me a histogram. So in here I'm just saying I would just want to go to type, where type is equal to burger. Okay, so I'm saying where type is equal to burger. If the type is burger, then that's the calorie amount that you're going to exclude all other types that are not burger. So just note when I typed it in here, if it's up, see it's uppercase T here, so I put an uppercase T there, uppercase B here, uppercase B here. They have to match exactly how they're typed in here when you type it in here. And when we type in the words, we always include these quotation marks. Okay, but if we compute it this way, then you see we just get one graph and the graph that we want right away. Okay, so the next thing we did is we said, well, which has the least amount of calories? So we clicked here. Okay, and this is telling us that there's 2 burgers that fall in the smallest bin, between 100 and 200 calories. We go down and we find, oh, here we go. We get these 2 White Castle burgers. And one thing we noted right away is that these burgers here, and they do have the smallest calories, but as far as serving size, they're also very small, right? And if you look at these serving size in grams compared to the others, they are the smallest. So what we want to do was find, well, which is the healthiest burger gram per gram. And so what we realized is that we should divide calorie by serving size, and that will give us the amount of calories we're consuming per gram. Okay, so in this talk I said, well, this is where we level up. Okay, so I want to create another row of data here where it's going to give me calories per gram, so I can find which hamburger is gram for gram the healthiest. So I want to create data is what I want to do. So up until this point, we've just been clicking on the graph button, okay, because the graph button gives us all these different histograms and pie charts and dot plots and everything that's in chapter 2. So we go here to data because I want to create data. So I go to data and I want to compute data. So and I'm going to use an expression here. Okay, so here I'm just going to go to build because it makes life a little easier. So what I want to do for this column here is I want calories divided by serving size, right? So here I gotta find calories right here. So you double click on it and then it appears there. And then I want to do divided by. So this forward slash here is division, and then we want to divide by serving size. Okay, and that's what we get there. And I click OK. And before I click compute, I'm just gonna label this column and call it calories per gram. I want to keep it short and sweet. That way I can easily reference it up here. Okay, so I just put cal per gram. Okay, so when I compute, here we go. We have all of our data here, calories per gram. Okay, so now we want to find out gram for gram, which hamburger is the healthiest. So just to get a distribution of these here, I can create another histogram. Okay. So I have to scroll all the way down here to find it. Oops, here it is. calories per gram because I just created it, and I can compute. Okay, and so this is the distribution here I get for calories per gram, and if you see here, I get one burger that's in the smallest calories per gram amount here, and so we clicked here, we went down, okay, and I actually get a milkshake, and that's because I have to do histograms for burgers. Okay, so I forgot to sort it out here. So let me clear that out and fix that. So this is calories per gram for all items here. I did not do what I did last time. So remember, I just want for burger because that's all I'm comparing. And StatCrunch saves the last time we typed into the where. So we clicked in here, and then we compute here, and there we go. And that's the histogram that we got last time. Okay, so if we click here, what we find is one burger, and it's in and out. Okay, so when we're just looking at calories, I mean, it appeared the White Castle burgers were the healthiest in terms of calories, but it turns out that they're just the smallest. But when we consider calories per serving size, calories per gram, we get in and out. In and out gives the healthiest burger in terms of calories. And then to go further, we want to see, well, which are like the most unhealthiest hamburgers in terms of calories per gram. And when we clicked here, we got two results, and they were both from White Castle. Okay, and even one of these, I believe. So if you put your cursor here, you can extend it out. Okay, and this is a bacon cheese slider and a double bacon cheese. Right, and you can even click here to see more. Look at more White Castle. Okay, but so by just thinking through the data and thinking about just extra little calories per gram, we were able to uncover which hamburger is the healthiest per gram in terms of calories. Okay, but that's all I want to do is just give you a little review as far as what I did in class, and this would be for your reference. Okay, but have a good day. Bye.